Hello everybody, it's Brony Time, it's Brony Time, and I'm back here with the game. I'm not even gonna talk because I started this video before, but I appear to have gotten stuck. I have no fucking idea what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to deduce this gun, apparently, and, there's nothing else, but I'm not gonna do it. When we last left off, there was murder. We came here to investigate, and now we're doing this. I'm sorry if I'm so frustrated and fed up. I don't have time for introductions. I just want to get past this stupid point in the story. Okay. Okay, so we're examining this TV. What is it, Detective Gumshoe? My TV at home is so tiny compared to this one, pal. Then perhaps you should purchase a more normal-sized television like this one. Oh, let me see here. Wow, this thing is huge. Wow! And way too noisy. You're the noisy one, Scruffy. Don't touch it. You'll get your fingerprints all over it. But I didn't touch it! Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of detective work. Foundation. Are you serious? Guys, I looked up guides. Neither of them at once at all told me to investigate this. Foundation, huh? Sounds like something the rookie here needs to shore up on. Well, let's move on from this, shall we? I'm not gonna fucking yell and scream because I'm pissed off, but, you know. Oh, these fucking games sometimes, man. Like, I swear you guys, I looked up a guide trying to figure out what the hell I missed. Never told me to investigate the TV. Anyway, now we can do this. Let's just get on with it. Guess there's not much left to investigate, huh? They really did kill each other. No, we can't conclude that quite yet. Here we are. Now I can deduce the freaking gun. Oh my god. There's still something I find very peculiar here. The theory that simply killed one another is too simplistic in this case. In fact, there is actually a contradiction that shows there is another possibility. No way, pal, really? I suppose I'll just have to show you the contradiction in this crime scene. Won't rest us. Okay. Let's deduce this freaking gun. To any of the evidence I hold. Well, his pen, used by the left-handed Faraday, looks like... Maybe it's this? Now we come face to face with the contradiction I spoke of, and it is this. Mr. Faraday uses his left hand to write with his fountain pen. Ergo, he is left-handed, and yet the handgun is in his right hand. Don't you find it odd that the left-handed Mr. Faraday would hold the gun in his right hand? That, lady and gentlemen, is the great contradiction haunting this crime scene. Hey, you're right, pal. That does seem kind of strange. But how could something like that happen? The facts add up to one conclusion and one alone. Someone else put the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand after he died. Someone else? Plastic bag scattered on the floor and a gun in the wrong hand. I sense the presence of a shadowy figure behind this case. A person of vile intent who is serious about keeping the truth from us. Finally! Oh my god, you guys. But I'm not gonna lie, that thing where they investigated the TV was stupid. We didn't uncover anything from that. We didn't uncover anything from that, so there's no reason it should be required to advance. Here's the autopsy report. It is probable that Mr. Wells survived for a short time after he was shot. However, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously from his stabbing. Interesting. It looks like we now know everything we need to know about this case. Are you sure we know everything? Of course. The incident began when with Mr. Faraday attempting to get his revenge. The prosecutor went into a rage from being accused and tried to kill the defendant. But the defendant fought back and they ended up killing each other. It's all very clear and simple. There's absolutely no margin for doubt. Do you really believe that to be the truth? Ha! Are you saying just that I figured out the truth before you? That you don't want to believe it's true? There! It's alright. If you disagree with my arguments, then prove me wrong. Well, if there are any contradictions to be found, that is. Don't worry, I will. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, while Mr. Wells survived for a short time. From this, it is obvious that Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. Well. And Mr. Well, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. Those are the facts of this case. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, therefore he must have attacked first. Proving that logic to be false is probably the fastest way to show her that she's wrong. In that case, I should first look for any holes in her theory.
Hold it!
So you believe that the dying Mr. Bell stole the knife from Mr. Faraday? Mr. Bell became desperate as he did not want to die. Human beings can do such amazing things when they are put to the test. So the two men struggled, and in the end Mr. Well was able to grab the knife and stab Mr. Faraday. The messy condition of this room is a testament to the struggle. Yes, my logic is perfectly sound. Can you really say that it's perfect? What are you insinuating? Nothing. However, I can't let what you said slide by without further inquiry. One must be clear and precise, so if you could append the statement to your testimony. Fine. Was on the hall, there was no struggle.
Objection!
If the two men were fighting, the struggle could have surely caused quite a bit of noise. However, Detective Gumshoe testified that he heard absolutely nothing. You placed too much space in the detective's testimony, you know. But for the sake of argument, let's say there wasn't a fight. How then did Mr. Well get his hands on the knife? Mr. Faraday's bag was sitting right here in lobby number 2. It's not hard to imagine that perhaps Mr. Well saw a chance and took it out at some point. So, what you're saying is this. Mr. Well took a chance when he saw the opportunity and took the knife from the bag? And then Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Well after being stabbed? Is there something strange in Francesca's statement just now? Yeah, something's off. Wait, something doesn't add up. Oh, really? It's simply not possible Mr. Faraday to have shot Mr. Well after being stabbed. Details, burn Faraday's. Immediately after gunshot. Remarks about the eyes. Faraday and I have a nice type of chest. It's definitely this.
Take that!
According to the coroner's report, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously. Meaning, okay, it was that. That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure. That he died immediately upon being stabbed by the knife. Ergo, he could not possibly have fired the gun after that. Oh, you got me. But of course. Well then, if the report is correct, since there is only one correct explanation, you suppose that Mr. Well attacked first. Then Mr. Faraday, who died instantaneously, would have been unable to kill Mr. Well. Therefore, Mr. Well must have stabbed Mr. Faraday after he was shot. Then they both died. That is the only explanation that makes logical sense. Negating your opponent's ideas in order to prove your own theory. I see you've been studying, Francesca. I just wanted to explain to you as simply as possible. Before you foolishly propose a foolish theory that only a foolish fool like you could. How naive of you to believe that only your opinions are valid, and still expect to discover the truth that the crime scene offers you. Francesca, you still got a ways to go. What are you talking about? Are you saying there's a flaw in my logic? Mr. Faraday died instantly. The fact that he did is what gives rise to the contradiction in the scene. The contradiction here in this crime scene is the order the bodies fell. Let me get this straight. What you are arguing is this. Mr. Faraday took the gun from his evidence bag and shot Mr. Rell. Then, the wounded Mr. Rell found an opportunity to take the knife and strike back. Upon being stabbed, Mr. Faraday died on the spot, and Mr. Rell died thereafter. If that's the case, how do you explain this? Take a good look at the order in which the bodies are piled. No! Mr. Faraday's body is lying on top of Mr. Rell's. Therefore, Mr. Rell must have died before Mr. Faraday. Impossible! Yes, I agree that it seems strange, no matter what angle you approach it from. Which means that the real mystery behind this crime scene that we must solve is... No! Not so fast, Miles Edgeworth! What now? I simply think that you ought to think a bit more outside the box. And that it's even clearer now that the incident started with Mr. Faraday's murderous intent. She sure bounced back quickly. Explanation won't be enough this time. It's going to take some very decisive evidence to prove her wrong. It was just chance that Mr. Faraday's body fell on top of Mr. Rell's. The two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates that they attacked each other at this time. It really doesn't matter in the slightest that they fell in opposite order. To know that Francesca's explanation isn't absolutely correct. All I have to do is find a hole in her logic. Once I do, I can then present her with the evidence that proves the contradiction.
Hold it!
What do you mean by they attacked each other at the same time? I assume Mr. Faraday has the two different weapons in his hands. He made to attack Mr. Rell while holding both the knife and revolver, and then, after Mr. Faraday fired the gun, Mr. Rell grabbed the knife as he was falling, and stabbed Mr. Faraday. Hold up, you guys, I got an important text. Okay, never mind, it's not really that important, sorry. Mr. Rell grabs the knife as he was falling and stabbed Mr. Faraday. That is how Mr. Rell wound up in the bottom with Faraday on top. At close range, that is more than possible. Yes, it's possible, but... Well, if you have any other ideas, then show me what you got. Oh, I will. And to that extent, I'd like for you to append what you just said to your testimony. I don't see any point in that, but as you please. Gun.
Objection!
So, you believe they killed each other at close range? Sorry, but that's impossible. Just as written in the crime scene notes, the firing of the handgun did not leave a gunpowder burn on Mr. Rell's clothes. Therefore, Mr. Rell and the gun must have been separated by a distance of at least 2 or 3 yards. Aha! Yes, this is by far the biggest contradiction. The two bodies are piled up on each other, yet the gun was fired from a distance. And with there being no chance that Mr. Rell moved that fire far after being shot, there leaves only one possible explanation. For what a completely foolish line of foolish shot from a thoroughly foolish fool! If I'm not right, then who was it that made the first move with the intent to kill, huh? Who? The person that attacked first and the murderous intent, that would be neither man. Here in this room, contradictions appear no matter which man we claim attacked first. Thus, there can only be one explanation. There was a third person here. It was that third person who killed both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell, and set their bodies up to make it look like a double murder. That third person is the real culprit. Miles Edgeworth, there's just one thing you're missing. Evidence, correct? Exactly. Everything you've said up until now is nothing but a story played out in your head. However, this isn't where the real test begins. Can you prove there was a third person involved in this crime? Of course. If the third person was truly here, the pact would resolve the glaring contradiction. Prove that this has all been set up, made to look as if they killed each other. I'll present it, and they bear the final piece of the puzzle that's not yet in place. What is the piece of evidence that proves there's a third person involved? Hold on, I want to check profiles real quick. 60, 40, yeah, I see it. 53, definitely see it. 32, yeah. Yadagarasu, we don't know. We know who that is now, but he doesn't yet. The judge, just, we don't know how old he is. Bad's 53, see that. Use 22, I can see that. That I don't see. That is not the face of a 26-year-old man. Manny Calkin, 24. Nope. Von Karma. She's only 13? I mean, I'm not really surprised, but, you know. But anyway, let's get back to what we were supposed to be doing. It's the plastic bag.
Take that!
The gun is Mr. Faraday's hand, and the plastic bag with his blood on it. These two items point to the presence of a third person. How so? Recall Detective Gumshoe's testimony. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. If there wasn't a struggle in this room, then there shouldn't be any plastic bags on the ground, meaning that someone else must have deliberately scattered them around. Do you not see the possibility in this? Disregarding the gun for the moment, there's a high probability of blood splatter when a knife is used on a person. If the culprit held the knife with a plastic bag around it, they could use the bag to catch any blood splatter from when they withdrew the knife. Then, by spreading a few more plastic bags around, mixing the bloody one in with them, and arranging the room to make it look like there was a struggle between the two, they were able to conceal their presence. Ah! Looks like we still got a long way to go in this investigation.
Objection!
Yes. What the heck's up with you, pal? Mr. Bad, I advise you to place Detective Gumshoe under arrest. What? What's the meaning of this? Ha. Looks like you're not man enough to discipline your own subordinates. Don't you dare. That detective claims he was there standing in front of the door the entire time. But I have it on good authority that was all a giant lie. Miss Yu, I ask that you please explain that last statement. I'll let his honor explain it himself. I saw it with my own eyes, I tell you. During the recess, there was a period of time when there was no one in the hallway. What? See, Mr. Bad? So I ask you, why would a detective who was supposedly doing his job the whole time want to fabricate such a lie? Gumshoe, did you kill Faraday? No! Of course not, sir! It would appear that the one who set this whole... It appears that the one who sets this whole crime scene up is that detective. Which basically renders his testimony a complete lie and wholly invalid. It looks like your perfect logic has come tumbling down, Miles. Was that statement really a lie? Detective Gumshoe, you're now a suspect in the murder of two men. Now spit out the truth or so help me. I haven't lied to anyone, sir, honest! I really was there. I was there in the hallway the whole time.
Hold it!
Detective Bad, I ask that you please do not act without my permission. After all, I am the one that is heading up this investigation, am I not? Don't talk like you know what's going on, boy. All I want is for this investigation to run perfectly. Perfection is the only wish of a disciple of Von Karma, after all. Therefore, before you take Detective Gumshoe into custody, I'd like to set the record straight on something. And what's that? What should I ask Detective Gumshoe about? Motive. What is his motive to kill him? I suppose the one thing I'd like to clarify. Detective Gumshoe's motive for committing this crime? Motive? Huh? Gumshoe, you got a grudge against Faraday or anything? No, sir, not me. Not a single bad thing against Mr. Faraday, sir. Is that a fact?
Objection!
You really have a problem with lying, don't you, Detective Gumshoe? I'm telling you, I am not lying! The more out you act, the more suspicious you become, you know. If you want a motive, Edgeworth, I have one for you right here. Could you please share it with us? However, be forewarned that I won't hesitate to object to flights of fancy, because all I'm interested in is the perfect explanation. You're serious, aren't you? Fine. You amuse me, so I'll humor you with a little courtroom practice. It was about a week ago. I saw the detective get chewed out by a livid Faraday in front of the precinct. He stood there, super pale, as Mr. Faraday yelled, "That's a salary cut for you, nitwit." A vanity detective suddenly getting a salary cut? That's reason enough for a grudge. Well, how's that for the perfect explanation? You totally misunderstand me, pal. How, America? I could never hold a grudge. Quiet. Can't trust anything you say. Sir. There's nothing wrong with the motive she proposed, per se. But there's some gaps in the logic that need filled in. Missy's perfect explanation may not be so perfect at all. I don't think Gumshoe's smart enough to carry out this.
Hold it!
You call your explanation perfect. Is it not to your liking? Unfortunately for you, it's just not up to my standards. Oh, is there something you want me to clarify in that case? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yes. Alright, if you could clear this one thing up for me. I understand Detective Gumshoe's potential motive for killing Mr. Faraday. However, what about his motive for killing Mr. Rell? His motive for killing Rell? Like I would know. There's no clear motive for both of the murders. And I doubt this incident would have occurred, wouldn't you agree? Is there anyone else who might have had a grudge against either of the two men? Or should we look into that ourselves? Oh, in that case, I have absolutely no idea. What? That's impossible. She must know something. Wait. Can you please not glare at me like that? It makes me laugh. Ugh, I didn't even do anything and you're already laughing away! Well, anyway, the way I see it is as long as he had a motive to kill one of the two, this crime would have played out the way it did anyway. Oh? Would you care to explain your logic? And this time, please try to provide a truly perfect explanation. Oh, shoot. Perfect as per that. Stop being so uptight. Or is that a requisite trait for being a Von Karma? Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you shut this rude woman up. I wish you'd both be quiet for just 1 second. Women, am I right, boys? Now, oh well, I guess... There's no one out there with a motive to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Well. All you really have to establish is that someone had a grudge against one of the two men. Mr. Well, who happened to be there, became a witness to Mr. Faraday's murder. Therefore, he was killed out of necessity, and set up to look like they had killed each other. I wonder if that's really true. There's no one out there with a grudge against both men. I should take another hard look at the evidence for this morning's case. The second KG8 incident, as people are calling it, involving an embassy staff member, and the two men who both wound up as suspects in the case. Is there someone else I'm overlooking who is somehow related to them?
Objection!
That one was easy. Miss Yu, I believe there is someone you overlooked in making your statement. Or rather, is it because you'd rather not bring this person up? What do you mean? We are looking for someone with a reason to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Red. I can think of at least one person that fits the bill. He was the suspect in the original KG8 incident, and a member of the Cadopian Embassy staff, Mr. Manny Culchin. That's right, the very man who came to visit you earlier out in the hallway. The man who killed a member of the Cadopian Embassy staff, Mr. Vell, and the man who was lead prosecutor of the KG8 incident, Mr. Faraday. Are you telling me that Mr. Culchin has no reason at all to kill both of these men? Well, Brody might have a reason or two. You covered for me, pal! Maybe you're not such a bad guy after all. Don't get ahead of yourself. You're still a suspect. Make no mistake about that. The perfect evidence, the perfect testimony. These are the only things I wish to hold. But I didn't do it! You will stay under my authority and go investigate Manny Culchin for me. And remember, I will not be very forgiving should any of this leak out. You want to investigate Culchin? You'd just be wasting your time. And why is that? Culchin was up in the viewing gallery watching the whole trial. Or so I was told. Every cop in this place has been keeping an eye on the guy since he arrived. Since the only suspect we have is still Detective Gumshoe. I suppose so. No way, come on, Detective Bad, you gotta believe me, sir! I really was in that hallway the whole time, sir! I never took a single step into this room, sir! Okay, then are you saying there was someone else who passed through the hallway? No, there was no one else, sir. Then why should I believe you didn't do it? That is one incredibly foolish detective, standing right in front of the crime scene all by himself. It's as good as a confession of guilt. I have to admit it's a bit strange. Most criminals will fabricate some sort of lie to escape their crimes, and if that detective really wanted to prove that he is innocent, you'd think he would say, at the very least, offer up "I spaced out while on duty" or the like. Come on, Gumshoe, time for your interrogation. Detective Bad. Miles Edgeworth, I will go ahead and report this to Papa. And that, as they say, is that, right, everyone? Well, I suppose we should both be getting back to our real jobs now, huh? Before we do, Miss Yu, there is something I'd like to speak with you about. What is it? Well, we will speak about that with her next time on Ace Attorney Investigations. Okay, so after a very frustrating hiccup in the case, we're back on track. Gumshoe is being found guilty of murder, and I guess we'll be proving him innocent by the end of this case, and that's how he'll attach ourselves to him, and we'll become the best of buddies. But we'll have to save him next time. So until then, thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to any type of more content, especially more Ace Attorney Investigations. Also, please make sure to share this video far and wide so we can get as many eyes on it as possible. And I will see you all next time.